Hi, Jessica. Mr. Parrish here with a few comments about the summary reaction paper. I'm going to focus primarily on how you're introducing the sources, but in your first paragraph, let me comment on a couple of things. When here in this sentence where you say the articles of discussion explore, I think in this assignment and any other writing assignment, you want to focus more on the issue, especially early on, and not so much the articles. The point of this assignment is to explore the issue, not just to summarize the articles. The articles should, in that sense, be taking a kind of backseat to the issues you're talking about. I'll talk about that in the next paragraph as well. Here, this use of the word authenticity seems to be not quite the right word. I mean, authenticity sort of has to do with how genuine or real something is, an authentic copy of the Declaration of Independence. Here, I think you're talking about either the word efficacy or the word effectiveness if you're trying to determine, how effective corporal punishment would be. Now, in the next paragraph, when you introduce your sources, you want to include the full name the first time. So this would be Marcy Hamilton and Jillian Ruck. After that, they become Hamilton and Ruck, but you don't start off that way. But part of what I was suggesting earlier is this idea of save the introduction of the sources until you've set up in a sentence or two the actual issue that you're exploring. This idea where, paddling children or the corporal punishment of children in schools, to some people, creates future problems. All right. Then I think Hamilton and Ruck can come in to represent that idea. If you're going to use the southern part of the United States, I think that would be lowercase. The South as a region is capitalized, just as you might capitalize the Northeast or something like that. But the southern part of the United States would not be a proper noun. And I think the acknowledgement of child rights and concerned individuals when paddling is mentioned builds up the suspicion. There must be a more, I think, concise way of expressing what you're trying to say here. If it is, people become suspicious when, then that might be the way to phrase it, or if parents become suspicious. I'm not quite sure, but that's part of the issue with that sentence. So here's this quote, and again, one of the things you can do is do the citation in parentheses. That's certainly fine, and you probably want to mix it up. So this next one where you say the article goes on to say, this might be better to say Hamilton and Ruck go on to say. But again, a kind of combination of putting the names in the signal phrase, putting the names in parentheses would be fine. Now in the paragraph, the other response paragraph, part of what's going on here is it's not really until down here in this one parenthetical citation that Josephine is indicated. I would introduce the full name up here and then repeat it because it's, when you say the writer considers, you've yet to say who the writer is. And really, I have to assume that it's Josephine. Much more clear here if we say Alexa Josephine shows the necessity and credibility of defining ways. According to Josephine, then that continues that citation. It really is something you want to do sentence after sentence after sentence. And again, praising beating of effectiveness, I think part of this is rephrasing, but in reading Josephine's article, I was actually kind of stunned by this statement. When I looked at it, I don't know if she is actually writing in support of it. Hers seems to be a legal document in which she talks about corporal punishment as in ways in which it might be effective, but I don't know if it's actually endorsing it. But I'll come back to that statement in a minute. Castigation is usually more verbal, and I think what your paper seems to concentrate on more physical punishment, so it's probably not the right word here. And in your final paragraph, I think that the one thing really missing from your final paragraph is what it is you think. You give a summary of both of the articles, but the response should be from a more personal point of view. So, as someone who's may have had experience or seen experiences of this as a child, if you yourself are a parent, how would you feel if teachers use corporal punishment in school? That's your response should be based on the articles, but it isn't so much a conclusion in which you're going back and summarizing what the two articles said. And again, recalling something in the first article that really imposes on the reader, which is the first article. Use the author's names as the substitute for something like that. If we take a quick look at the Works Cited page, one thing that you really want to include in the citation is the publication. As I point out in the Working Bibliography Project, knowing the publication often tells the reader a lot about the source. The fact that Josephine was writing for this website Legal Beagle, that turned out to make some sense when I actually went in and read the article. I think she is giving a kind of legal definition of corporal punishment, kind of more as information. Again, I don't think she's endorsing it. I think she's just trying to explain and define the term, but also understanding that it is a website that deals with legal issues helped me understand what she was trying to do. Same would be true of USA Today. Hamilton and Ruck really don't mean much to anybody, but USA Today does. Most people are familiar with it, and its reputation is important in establishing the authority of your sources. All right, so a couple of things to keep in mind as you proceed to the next paper. Continue to make progress in the course. Thanks.